Every family has labels. Mine gave me one before I was old enough to understand what it meant. The ugly one. It started as a joke. At least, that's what everyone claimed. Whenever relatives visited, someone would smile and say, "Well, one child got all the beauty." Everyone would laugh. My older sister was the pretty one. Perfect hair, perfect smile, perfect pictures. I was the one people ignored in family photos. If there wasn't enough room, I was the one asked to step aside. Even my parents compared us. "Why can't you dress more like your sister? Maybe try wearing makeup. You'd look better if you smiled more." After years of hearing those words, I stopped looking in mirrors. I believed them. When I graduated from college and moved to another city, I built a quiet life. I found a job I loved, made real friends. For the first time, no one called me the ugly one. Then one day, an invitation arrived. Family reunion. Everyone must attend. I almost threw it away, but something inside me whispered, maybe this time will be different. I was wrong. The reunion was held at a large country club. As soon as I walked in, my aunt spotted me. She laughed. "Look who's here." Another relative smiled and said, "The ugly duckling finally showed up." Several people laughed, just like they always had. Even my parents smiled awkwardly instead of stopping them. I forced myself to stay calm. I wasn't that insecure teenager anymore. But old wounds have a strange way of reopening. Throughout the afternoon, relatives praised my sister's beauty. No one asked about my career. No one cared that I had built a successful life on my own. To them, I was still the same child they had laughed at years ago. Then, just as dinner was about to begin, someone walked through the front door. A complete stranger. And everything changed. The man was well-dressed and looked to be in his 60s. He walked confidently across the room. At first, everyone assumed he was in the wrong place. Then he stopped directly in front of me. He smiled warmly. "I've been looking for you." I looked confused. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" He nodded. "You probably don't remember me. But I remember you." The room fell silent. He introduced himself as the founder of a scholarship program I had volunteered with years earlier. Back then, I had spent every weekend mentoring children from struggling families. I had never expected recognition. I simply wanted to help. The man turned toward everyone at the reunion. "I've wanted to thank this person publicly for years." Every conversation in the room stopped. The man raised his glass. "I've met thousands of volunteers, but only one changed the entire future of our program." He looked directly at me. When funding nearly disappeared, this person worked without pay for months. They never asked for attention. They simply cared. Then he smiled. Because of that kindness, more than 200 students earned scholarships. The room fell completely silent. My relatives stared at me. Some looked genuinely shocked. Others looked embarrassed. The same people who spent years judging my appearance had never bothered to learn who I really was. Then the man said something I'll never forget. "The most beautiful thing about a person isn't their face. It's the lives they change." After dinner, my parents quietly found me outside. My mother had tears in her eyes. "We never knew." I smiled sadly. "You never asked." My father looked down. "We spent your whole childhood comparing you to your sister. We thought we were motivating you." I shook my head. "You weren't motivating me. You were teaching me that I wasn't enough." Neither of them argued, because they knew it was true. For the first time in my life, they apologized without making excuses. Months later, another reunion was planned. This time, something was different. No one called me the ugly one. Not because my face had changed, because their eyes finally had. The stranger who walked into that reunion didn't give me confidence. He simply reminded everyone of something they had forgotten. Character lasts longer than beauty. Kindness leaves a deeper mark than appearance. As for me, I stopped avoiding mirrors. Not because I suddenly believed I looked perfect, but because I finally understood that my value had never depended on someone else's opinion. When I think about that reunion now, I don't remember the cruel jokes. I remember one stranger who stood in a crowded room and spoke the truth no one else had bothered to say. My family spent years judging the face they saw in photographs. A stranger saw the heart behind it. And sometimes, the person who changes your life isn't someone who knows you best. It's the one who sees your worth before your own family ever does.
Hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a new emotional story. Your support means more than words can say, and it helps us continue bringing these untold stories to life.